How about this for continuing? With us this morning, the owner of Westside Decorating Center. We say good morning to Mike Stoddard. Good morning.
Good morning, Art.
Well, this is a chance for everybody who has questions about decorating to give us a call. 989-752-6111 if you have any questions about paint, stain, wallpaper, cement floors, you name it. If it's home decorating, you can call in and Mike will point you in the right direction, give you an answer to your questions. I do have to ask, though, because recently you had taken on, I was going to say a new line of paint, but it's only new to you because the paint line itself has been around for ages. Mm-hmm. Benjamin Moore Paints? It
is, yeah. So Benjamin Moore, we started carrying their products in December, and it's been going great. Like you said, great name, great quality products. In fact, we just installed a new display of theirs in our showroom. So we have their Woodlux display, which is all of their exterior solid stains, semi-transparent stains, and semi-solid stains. So anything for decks, fences, siding, things like that.
I have to laugh. You expanded your showroom. You took over the office next door to you. You broke the walls out. Mm-hmm. You're big, much bigger, twice the size. You're running out of room already, aren't you?
we consolidate very well, but like you said, we are bringing a lot of new products in. We have new carpet lines, new countertops. Like you said, all the new Benjamin Moore. We have 20 feet of new colors from them, but it works. We make it work with our space.
And you have storage space to store all that stuff.
Yes, a lot of storage space for extra paint, and all of our flooring is stocked there as well.
I don't know how you do it.
We make it work.
So let's talk about when we say paint. There's paint, and then there's paint. Mm-hmm. They're not all the same, are they?
Not the same, yeah. Every can of paint from different manufacturers, obviously different pricing, different raw materials in there. One of my reps said it the best. He said customers expect a lot out of paint coatings. They expect them to last, be durable, go on easily. They don't want to have to do them every couple of years. So there's a big difference between an inexpensive gallon of paint and an expensive gallon of paint.
And what makes that difference? I mean, if I'm going to pick numbers out of the air mm-hmm. because they're probably not close, but if I buy a $20 gallon of paint and I buy a $60 gallon of paint, mm-hmm. what's the difference in what's in that can? And is that $60 paint worth it? Do I get my money, my value out of that?
Yeah, definitely worth the upgrade. So what you're paying for with those more expensive paints is better resin, better application. Usually those paints are going to go further as well. A lot of them are going to have upgraded features like they might be mold and mildew resistant. If they're an exterior paint, it might be a paint that is able to be rained on within 30 minutes or an hour, which is good for exterior painters that are trying to get jobs done quickly, but around the weather. So there's a lot of benefits to those paints that are going to be maybe $60 to $80. That's still the premium range. But the nice thing with all the brands that we carry, they've got things from economy lines. If you are painting your basement or your garage and you don't need something expensive, they have those. They have the mid-grade paints, which are going to be your $40 to $60 range. And then the higher ends are going to be your $60 to $80 to $100.
Yeah. I don't know what I get in that $100 can of paint. We'll come back to it. We got a caller. Let's say good morning to Ricardo. You're on with Mike Stoddard. Good morning, Ricardo.
Good morning. How you doing, Art? How you doing, Mike?
Hi, Ricardo. Good.
I was just I had a question because I recently got my roof redone within the last April makes it a year. And the drip edge on that roof is about 2 or 3 inches shorter than the other one. So my question first is more so about exterior paint and how to pick the right one.
Yeah, as far as the right coating for what are you going to be painting, like vinyl or aluminum or wood or?
It'll be wood, yeah.
Wood, and has it been coated before or not?
Where they replaced the drip edge, I'm not sure, but there was a chunk of fascia that had to be replaced that is completely bare wood. Yeah.
Gotcha. And I guess the next question is, do you want something with a sheen or something flat?
I'd actually have to check the actual drip edge because I'm going to be honest, I was going to cheat it and just pick the same color as the drip edge.
Yeah, we can match that same color.
I think more matte though.
Yeah, so a matte finish. So if you wanted to do it, the easiest way to do it would be to use like a solid stain because that does not require a primer. So solid stain will go right over top of bare wood. We can match the color, And then you have a couple options in sheen with solid stain, either a dead flat or, like you said, more of a matte eggshell finish. But that'd be the easiest way to do it. If you go the paint route, you do have to prime the bare wood first and then paint with the paint afterward.
All right, so while Ricardo's on the phone, I have a really stupid question. He's got a drip edge. That's what he's going to refinish to match color that's already there. Can't bring the roof to you. How do you get a color sample to match?
Yeah, so a couple different ways. We can, we have probably 3,000 different colors in our showroom that we can, the customers sometimes will come in and grab colors that they think are close, go back and
samples.
Go back and see if they can find them. We do have a lot of different manufacturers' colors for siding and roofing in our store too. So we have the manufacturer's color. So if you know the manufacturer and the color name, we usually can look it up and get you a match that way as well.
Okay. I don't know the color name off the top of my head, but I've got the roof company.
Yeah.
And then when you get the roof replaced, if it's a bad enough leak, you got to get the ceiling replaced too. Any tips on that, color-wise?
Yeah. So like interior or ceiling colors?
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually people are just doing a ceiling white, but the nice thing is you can pick any color you like. We've got about 3 different ceiling paints that come in different shades of white, I would say, and then other than that, everything's tintable, so we can make you any color you want.
Have we gotten away from that popcorn finish?
Yes, I would say most new homes don't have it. Yeah, my house does have a couple rooms that have it, but yeah, it was more a 70s and 80s sort of a time frame thing.
All
and
right.
then in regards to both of them, how do you know how much to order, I guess?
Yeah, so if you can figure out square footage, that's the best way. So if you tell us, you have 200 or 300 square feet of ceiling, we'll figure out how much you need, and then same thing with the exterior paint. Most paints are going to go about 400 square feet per gallon. On your exterior wood, we're going to say probably 250 to 300 square feet a gallon, just because it is going to soak into the wood more than it would into drywall or other coatings.
Sounds good. Awesome. Thanks a ton.
Perfect.
Ricardo, thanks for calling. Take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye now.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
And that opens up the lines, 989-752-6111, if you have a question about paint or wallpaper. Are there such a thing, on some of these paints, are there samples you can take home, little tiny sample cans, so to speak?
So we have a couple different options. California Paint has their testers in actually a quart size, which is nice. So if you needed to do a bigger chunk of wall, you could do the California Paint testers. The Benjamin Moore ones are going to come in a pint can, so a little smaller, a little more economical. So if you wanted to do multiple samples, sometimes it's easier to do the Benjamin Moore. But we can do any color in any of the sample cans, which is nice.
And you can literally mix and match any color, can't you?
Any color, yep. So we have, like I said, probably about 3,000 colors in our showroom. And if that's not enough, like you said, you can bring something in. We can match up a fabric or a piece of siding
an electronic
or wood.
way of determining what's in that color so you can mix it?
Yeah, so we have a color computer that will read those colors and then come up with different formulas for the colors. We will select the best formula that we feel that would match that color. And the cool thing with that color computer, it can zoom into a sample, so it can zoom into a fabric and pick a certain color out of it.
Well, you're in a fabric. It doesn't have to be a paint chip.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It could be pretty much anything. A lot of people bring in maybe a small chip of paint that they were able to get off of their fence or their siding or something, want that matched. We can zoom right in on that and get a good quality match.
It's all there at Westside Decorating, 5789 State Street. We will be back. We'll chat more with Mike Stoddard, the owner, and, of course, your questions are welcome.
What's the most important part of a
Everyone, Terry Henney broadcasting from Freeland this morning, the site of Thumb Bank and Trust. They're having their grand opening celebration. Day number 1 was yesterday. This is the second day, and they're celebrating until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Today, a customer appreciation luncheon will be held. That'll start at about 11:30 and go until 1:30 in the afternoon. And, of course, they've got a lot of grand opening prizes that you can win, too, just by stopping by and registering. Remember, Thumb Bank and Trust is locally owned. They are locally involved. and locally invested in the communities that they do serve. They provide personal, business, and agribusiness loan and deposit solutions. If you'd like to find out more about them, and especially their new Freeland branch, all you have to do is go to their website, which is thumb.bank. Community strong since 1895, Thumb Bank. More reports coming up as we celebrate this 2-day open house grand opening celebration at Thumb Bank in Freeland.
The WS.
Hi, we're back with you in studio with me, Mike Stoddard, owner of Westside Decorating Center. And, of course, you'll find them at 5789 State Street in Saginaw. I had some questions folks asked me to ask if we had time, since we do. They want to put a coating on a cement floor, but they want to put some kind of non-slip grit in it. Is there such a thing, and how do they do it?
There is. So it depends kind of on your situation, whether it's a basement or a garage floor. We have different coatings for those two. But
why are they different?
So the garage floor coatings can be driven on. So the epoxies are a little bit more durable. Those they say they resist hot tire pickup, which means as your hot tires come in off the road, they're bringing stones and rocks and everything. So those epoxies have to be more durable than one that's going to be in your basement and walked on there.
Yeah.
Both coatings can have that anti-slip additive put in. Back when I started a long time ago, it was silica sand. It was almost sand off a beach. You'd open the can up and it looked like something you'd find on a vacation. But now they've switched that up a little bit. Instead of the silica sand, they're using a much finer, almost like a pumice sort of texture. It's much less abrasive to the paint. So that means that old silica sand, it was very, very textured. But when you'd walk or drive over it, it would actually loosen the coating, and then the coating would end up peeling. The newer, finer material, that doesn't happen. So we have that in stock. It comes in little bags. One bag goes into a gallon of paint. You mix it up and usually put that on your final coat. It doesn't need to be on the first coat if you're doing 2 coats.
I was going to say, do you need to do 2 coats?
Nope, just one on that one.
Yeah. And how long typically does that last?
It depends. Garage floor coatings, depending on the style and whether it's professionally applied or not. Some garage floor coatings are almost permanent, like something like you'd see in a car dealership. Those are done, and once they're done, they're pretty permanent. There's some homeowner kits. Those are things that you probably want to redo every 4 to 5 years, kind of like an exterior deck. It needs maintenance every couple of years.
Okay, let's start with the garage floor. New construction, let's say. You got a cement slab. You can't just go lay paint on it, can you? What do you have to do to that new slab?
Yeah, even though that slab is new and you think that it's ready to go, that any time you do any epoxy in a garage floor, we recommend grinding that floor. And that grinding, whether it's taking a previous coating off or, like you said, brand new concrete, it's still removing that top layer of concrete. And what you're doing is basically making a surface that the epoxy is going to soak into and be able to adhere to. All paints have really hard times adhering to very smooth surfaces like brand new poured concrete. So that that grinding just opens up the pores, kind of creates a very porous surface. That epoxy goes in, lays in there.
By grinding, you have to use a machine to do this, I'm assuming?
Yep, usually a machine. All the rental shops have got the diamond grinders. And that's all you need. You just let them know you're doing a garage floor, and they'll get you the correct grit for those diamond grind heads that you have to put on the grinder.
Okay, now you're talking about epoxy. For me, as a model builder, when I think of epoxy, I got to do some mixing. I got a resin, and I've got a hardener, and all that stuff. Do I have to mix epoxy paint?
Good question. So we do have 2-part epoxies that you can mix, like you said, that require a hardener, and then there's something called a pot life, which means once you mix those two, part A and B together,
better get going.
Yeah, you might have an hour or 4 hours depending on the product and the temperature. But we have really easy to use products too that are what are called premixed or pre-catalyzed epoxy. So those come from the factory with a catalyst already in them. So you basically can open those up and apply them like paint. Shut the can and use it 2 years down the road to touch up or do another coat.
Okay, so a stupid question. I mean, they're pre-catalyzed. What keeps that catalyst from working in the can?
That is a great question, above my pay grade. It's kind of like
They must be air triggered because I can't.
As the coating dries,
it's a chemical reaction typically.
It is, so it could be done with air. And that is one of those things that boggles my mind, kind of like we have primers that have got water and oil in them. So they're called an emulsion, and of course we were always taught oil and water don't mix. But there's ways that paint companies can make those two coatings go in so you get the best of both worlds in the products that are like that. We have those in primers and in cabinet paints too. So those products lay down really nice and smooth like the old oils did, but they clean up with soap and water.
That's an interesting question. Do the new paints today lay down as smoothly as the old paints of yesterday?
I would say some of them do. A lot of our cabinet paints are going to lay down like the old oil bases did. Like people were used to brushing trim, and in the old days they brushed doors and walls. They didn't use rollers to get a smooth finish
because wanted to get rid of the streaks and all that stuff.
Because the paint took a long time to dry because it was oil and everything kind of meshed out. So we do have that technology in. I'd say in all the cabinet and door paints, and then all of our wall paints. As long as you're using the correct roller, you're getting a super smooth finish anyways.
And then the other question I would have is the adhesion of today's paints the same as it was under the oil?
I would say even better. The acrylic resin, which is basically a water-based or latex resin, super, super durable, and the adhesion is phenomenal. I mean, we have primers that are acrylic primers that will stick to like PVC and glass and plastics. Yeah, so you can prime over, like I said, you could basically paint a window with these primers, and the primer's going to stick. So the technology today is top notch.
But you're paying for it.
Yeah, those specialty primers are going to cost sometimes maybe double what a normal primer would cost. But the nice thing is once those specialty primers are applied, usually you can apply almost any paint over top of those.
Okay. We've all heard the ads. It's all in one can, the paint, the primer, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really?
No. Short answer is no.
That's what I thought.
Great marketing and very smart, and it was such good marketing that the first company did that all of our paint brands now have cans that say paint and primer all in one. If you read the fine print, it is paint and primer as long as you're painting over a already painted surface, which you can do with any can of paint, and you've always been able to do that. But anytime you're going over, say, bare drywall or paneling or a floor or something special, ceramic tile, those all are going to require a specific primer that you have to use before you use your paint and primer combination. So good marketing, but not truthful.
It's okay. And the other question I had, latex, ceramic, we hear all these words. Mm-hmm. What do they all mean?
Yeah, so they're just different resins. So latex resin is something that was started in the 80s and maybe even part of the 70s where they were
that was
switching.
Beginning of the replace the oil revolution.
Switching
right?
from oil to latex. So latex was synonymous with being water-based. And then in the 90s, they started coming out with acrylics, which were just finer resins, like I said, bonding better to surfaces. Late 90s, our ceramic paint came out, which is made by California Paints. That is a ceramic microsphere that's added into the paints. That creates a super smooth finish, which gets you a mold and mildew resistant finish. Super easy to clean. We sell it all the time for walls and trim and doors, any high traffic areas. And that's been our go-to for our most durable products.
Okay, so I have a can of latex. Mm-hmm. I have a can of acrylic. Mm-hmm. I have a can of ceramic. Mm-hmm. Can I use the same brush? Can I use the same rollers?
Yeah. Usually for all those, a nylon polyester brush or a Chinex brush, those bristles work great. They still make like a standard China bristle for oil-based finishes, which are kind of getting phased out, but we still have a lot of oils in our exterior lines of stain. So
we're going to get there.
Yeah, different bristles for different products, yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we will be back. Mike Stoddard, I guess, from Westside Decorating. If you have any questions about painting, wallpaper, staining, and all of that good stuff, you can give us a call, and Mike will point you in the right direction.
Reliable.
Back with you. We're chatting with Mike Stoddard from Westside Decorating Center, answering any questions you might have about home decorating. Give us a call at 989-752-6111. All right. Today it's going to be 83 degrees. It's different, but temperatures have begun to gradually warm up, even though next week's going to be back in the 60s again. How are we for doing painting outside now? Are we at that point where it's safe?
Yeah, you're definitely, we're getting there. So like you said, temperatures are rising. That's obviously good. One thing that we want to make sure our customers know about is if you're painting wood, we want to make sure moisture content is usually less than 15%.
How does one know that?
Yeah, that's a great question. A couple tests you can do. Simple one is just sprinkling some water on, say, a deck. If it's very, very dry, obviously it'll soak it right in, which is kind of what you're looking for. If it's got some moisture in it, that water is usually going to sit there and take a little time to absorb. It's not exact science, but if you want to get exact numbers, moisture meters are available at hardware stores or Menards, Home Depot. Pretty inexpensive, maybe $20, $30. They have a couple prongs on them. Stick them into the wood, hit a button, and they'll shoot out how much moisture is in that wood. Looking for under 15%. Other surfaces this time of year, not a big issue. Vinyl, aluminum, obviously those stay dry. They don't absorb moisture. So yeah, as long as temperatures are over 50 degrees at night and moisture content is good, you're free to paint.
Let's chat for a minute about decks and pre-treated lumber.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff that's green or whatever
Mm-hmm.
that is it's in there. How long after you build a deck do you have to wait before you can decide to either stain or paint it, and which would you do?
Yeah, another great question. When I first started 25 years ago, I remember they always used to recommend pressure-treated wood weathering a season or two. So you'd install it and don't worry about staining it. It's got to weather out. Now, whatever treatments they're putting on that wood is not lasting as long. So we've heard even 3 months. So easy test, again, is to sprinkle some water on that wood. If it absorbs, that means that treatment is no longer protecting and you can coat it. If it beads up, that means that coating is still there and you need to let it weather out a little longer. As far as coatings go, usually once you've installed a new deck, you're wanting either like a clear coat or a semi-transparent coating to go on your deck so you can see that wood that you just installed. As a deck ages, usually we see customers going to semi-solid and then solid coatings. As decks age, the wood needs more care, and those solid coatings are going to give more protection and more longevity. So clear coating you're going to have to do every year, semi-transparent every couple years, semi-solid, and then into the solids you're looking 4 to 6 years on those coatings.
All right, so let's say I have a coated deck, solid, semi, so whatever it is, and I want to redo it. Do I have to sand that first?
Always a good idea. So we recommend cleaning the deck first. You don't want to sand in any dirt and grime that's on the deck. So a light power wash, and then just let everything dry, and a little light sanding, and then you can use like a leaf blower to remove sanding dust.
All right, we have Sharon in Thomas Township with us. Sharon, good morning. You're on with Mike Stoddard.
Good morning. My daughter purchased a home, 1958 home, and around the windows there's some aluminum, and she wants to paint it white.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a particular way to paint that?
Yeah, has it been painted before, or is it just the bare aluminum?
No, it's just bare aluminum.
Oh, bare aluminum. Yeah, so
beige color.
Yeah, so we've got we have a primer called Smart Prime that is a good. It's the one I was talking about earlier. It's a water and oil emulsion product. That would be good for priming that aluminum. You can use that primer inside or outside, and then once you've got the primer on and it's dried for, I think the recoat time on that one's about an hour, you could use any type of paint over top of that. So,
okay, I don't need to sand that aluminum at all? You can just use the primer?
Nope, just make sure it's clean.
I was going to say clean it.
Yeah,
though
clean
first,
would
right?
be a good idea.
What do you clean it with?
TSP, trisodium phosphate,
That's been
is
around
a
forever.
good cleaner. Yeah, it used to come in a powdered form, and now it's switched all to like a liquid form that's just a concentrate you mix with water. So we have that in our store.
Well, I have power washed it.
Mm-hmm.
So do I still need to TSP it?
I would. You can just do that by hand. The TSP, the simple cleaner, and then we have a no rinse TSP, which is nice too. So once you put it on and it dries, you're good to do your priming and your painting.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I'll be in. Thank
Perfect.
you so
Thanks,
much.
Sharon.
Thanks, Sharon. Bye-bye. I guess the point that you're making here is the finished job is dependent on the prep, isn't it?
It is, and for exterior, I mean, there's two words we always use: is clean and dry. If it's clean and dry, you can prime, paint, stain, whatever you're doing. Inside, sometimes we have more contamination issues we're working with, but same thing. Inside, you want everything to be clean because, like you said, the more prep work you do, the longer your project's going to last.
And let us also dispel the notion that paint will cover flaws.
Sometimes it can mask flaws, but yeah, on a wall that's got holes or dings and dents in it, yeah, they need to be patched and repaired properly.
All right. Talking to Mike Stoddard. If you have any questions about paint and wallpaper, give us a call, 989-752-6111. That is our number, and he'd be happy to answer your questions for you. Meantime, we're going to take a break. Terry Henney is out and about. He is in Freeland.
Since 1895, Thumb Bank and Trust has been working with agriculture. Farming today obviously has a lot of challenges, and Thumb Bank keeps up with those changes, as well as industry trends and changes in the operation of farmers, as well as businesses all across the Thumb area. They're located in Bay City, and now the grand opening of their Freeland branch is underway, started yesterday and concludes today. Lots of things going on here. Great opportunity to meet all the people at the Freeland branch of Thumb Bank and Trust. And, of course, celebrate with an appreciation luncheon, a customer appreciation luncheon beginning at 11:30 this morning and going until 1:30 this afternoon. Grand opening celebration with plenty of great prizes and a whole lot more. Their slogan is, where relationships are built on trust. And now the folks in the Freeland area can take advantage of a community-strong financial institution, and they've been strong since 1895. Thumb Bank in their Freeland location. A lot more coming up next hour.
We're proud to make
All right, we're back with you. We're chatting with Mike Stoddard from Westside Decorating Center. So let me ask this. What's new at Westside?
Well, I was just thinking we do have a countertop promotion that we just started. So we do granite and quartz countertops. The promotion that we have going right now is if you purchase over 40 square feet of either quartz or granite, we have a couple of different sinks that you can get for free. And we also do the sink cutout for you for free. So that's a couple upgrades that are happening the next couple months. Other new things, like we mentioned, that new exterior stain display from Benjamin Moore just got installed a couple days ago. So that's kind of exciting. And then we have new patterned carpets from Kane, Stanton, and Fabrica, a couple of high-end carpet companies that have got really cool carpets. You have to stop in and see the patterns. They're phenomenal.
Window treatments?
Yeah, we have window treatments, motorized window treatments from Hunter Douglas.
That's a big thing. Motorized is
the
thing today, isn't it?
Everything, motorized are great. I mean, you can not only can you control them from your smartphone or your Alexa, but you can operate them when you're away from home. So it makes it look like someone's still there when you're on vacation, which is kind of nice.
I had last year, and I'll do it again this year. I stayed at the Palazzo in Vegas, and in the room, there's controllers, two controllers on the walls, the shades and the blinds, and the drapes. All controlled by these remote controls.
Yeah, almost like a TV.
It's just like
as
a
many
game.
buttons.
Let's see, up and down, open, close.
Yep. Yeah, it's convenient. There's a lot of different options we've got. We probably have the Tri-Cities biggest selection of different vendors. So we have, I think, 9 different window treatment vendors that we work with. So we can do anything from your regular honeycomb shades or wood blinds to your motorized shutters. We do exterior shades for patios.
So let me ask you this. If I walk in and say, I want a simple shade that I can just pull down, am I going to find one?
Yeah, you can do those too. Yeah, We have cordless blinds that
And you can
operate
cut
like
them to
that.
size?
Yeah, everything's custom done. Our designers will help you in the store. They'll come out and measure at your house, bring samples out so you can see how things look in your lighting, and then get you a quote. It's a pretty simple process.
And installation?
Yep, we do all the installation of our flooring and our window treatments, and we have great guys that have been doing it for years, so no issues there.
All right. Let's talk about carpet for a minute, because that's a changing